What is going on, people? Michael Griffiths here. Some of you will know me as Mac, but this is my very first YouTube video, and today we are going to go over the topic that has been highly requested, which is prep. And what I'm doing to prepare myself for my first show of this year, which is on September 18. And to be honest, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. So what I'm gonna go over in this video is my training, my food, and then we will go to the gym. I'm gonna hit shoulders, get that 3D delt pump. So let's get the show on the road. Woo. So today's agenda is prep. Prep is hard. A lot of people think, oh, prepping for a show is pretty easy, but it's not. It takes you to some dark places, very dark. My last prep was in 2018, and it was when I was working in the fire service. That was hard. Currently, I am consuming 3,249 calories. Don't ask me why it's 49, I just didn't get it to 50, so leave me alone. Here we have our trusted chicken. 24 gram of protein per 100 gram. Not bad really, is it? I will probably change this up to turkey mince towards the end of prep, because I can get 3% turkey mince, which is higher in protein as well, because my protein will go up as my carbs come down, and my fats will go slightly up as well. I use cooked weight, not raw weight. And if you don't understand what I mean, when you cook chicken, you lose some of the density and the weight drops a bit. So you can have 500 gram of chicken when it's raw like this, but the second you cook it, you've probably got around 375. So I wash my chicken. If you don't, just leave it alone. A bit of lemon juice, a bit of vinegar, eggs and a bagel for meal 2. I'd usually eat about every 3 hours. Everyone talks about meal timings. I don't really pay no attention to it. If I wake up at 5:30 and I go to bed at 11 PM and I get all my meals in, doesn't really matter what time they went in. And the post-workout one, it just happens when it happens. A little bit of sauce never hurt anybody. 15.5 weeks out. Judge me all you want, yeah? But it's light layer pack, so leave me alone.
You didn't salt bay it.
I ain't salt bay, gym bay. You don't have to go all out non-seasoned chicken straight away. Like, you can still have nice tasting meals this early on. It's not that deep until you get maybe 6 weeks out. Then you start cutting, really being meticulous about what's on your food. Stop seasoning around 6 weeks. I have competed before. I trained with one of my mates back home in Liverpool, and he basically said to me, oh, you should compete. And I was like, nah, that ain't for me. What, you want me to stand on stage and pose in front of people? Nah, I'm good. But we ended up going to a gym in Cannock called Saxon Gym. And I met a guy called Ryan. He wanted to basically just have a little look at me and was like, oh, you look like you've got a good frame for competing. So they basically gassed me up to compete and got it in my head, and I was very influenced by it, and basically I ended up on stage. But I did have a lot of fun, and I did learn a lot about myself during prep, just because when you do prep, like I said earlier, it takes you to a kind of a dark place, not just physically but mentally, because you spend a lot of time on your own, and because you haven't got that much energy, you don't have time for people. And I've fucked it. Oh, I've ruined it. I've ruined it. I did my first show 2018 and I placed second, so I was pretty happy. First show, placed second? Come on. Right, so I'm gonna get this meal in, finish prepping that food, and then we're gonna go and train shoulders. So the judges have told me that I need to focus on getting more cat shoulders and a bigger chest. I've been told by the coach I'm being prepped by that my rear delts are quite lacking. So I start my shoulder days now with rear delts. So yeah, that's my main focus for today, rear delts. With this machine, I feel like a lot of people mistake training the rear delts by using too much weight. With your rear delts, I feel like it's quite a tricky muscle to target. Even though this is specifically for your rear delts, it doesn't fully lengthen and fully shorten the rear delt because it stops at a certain point. You can't get your arm fully back. Whereas if you did kind of like a high to low kind of cable pull, you'd fully lengthen the rear delt as it came all the way up, and then you'd be able to get right past your back to fully shorten it. But if you're using a rear delt fly like this, if you slow your movement down and squeeze at the very end, it forces your rear delt to kind of contract a lot more. And if you're not using a lot of weight, you can control the weight. Whereas I see a lot of people whack like this right up to 70 and start just throwing through the motions. I'm trying to build muscle, and the way you build muscle, repetition yes, you need weight, but at the same time, you need to be able to control that weight. I think I'll get to maybe maximum 40 on here, and that's about it. I feel like if you've got really strong rear delts, like defined, muscular rear delts, it really adds to that appeal of your shoulder, giving it that kind of more capped look. And I feel like that's what I'm really aiming for this time round when I step on stage. I realised that I've already got quite strong front delts, so when I'm front on pose, it looks good. I think I'll hit rear delts all in one, and then I'll move on to side delt. Whew. Face is red, like a strawberry. Majority of the way through the session, and I'm only just now doing my first press. All I have to do really now is front delt. So because it's significantly stronger than my side and rear, as in like development wise, I do it last now, which means I can't lift as heavy, but we're gonna lift some. I think this is gonna be harder than I'm expecting.
Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB who we running with,
Can't believe I'm having to put elbow sleeves on for 40s. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. These wouldn't usually go on till about 46. But diet says no.
2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. State your name. Big been dope on flame. I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass. Slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away. Cause I got big racks coming. I put my low.
I'm gonna do push focused shoulder day. I only really do one chest exercise, and I usually do it quite light just for blood flow. Keep the blood pumped into my chest. Keep it nice and full. Because really what I'm focusing on is cap shoulder, like that. Nice and round, 3D look, front and back, side. We're going for it all. So 15 and a half weeks out. Feel like I'm in a pretty good position, but you never know who's going to turn up on show day. So I'm just going to answer a few questions that you've asked on Insta. So I'm going to start with this first one because it's pretty straightforward. Why did you get started in fitness? Now, for me, I was quite a chubby kid when I was in primary school, and I didn't really like how I was being treated in school. So from quite a young age, I knew that I needed to make a change. I didn't really know, obviously, what I was doing with nutrition and training, but I kind of took a liking to football. So my dad took me to play football, and I got pretty fit at it. Pretty good and pretty fit. I think it was the insecurity of being a little bit overweight in school and being pushed around a little bit, being called chubby. I didn't really like it, so I went from one extreme to the other though. So when I started playing football, I became really skinny, and I went from playing football to playing basketball and not being able to put weight on anymore. I think at one point I was 10 stone wet. Like that's the heaviest I was getting, and I was like that until maybe 2014, and then I was doing like push-ups and stuff in my room, started seeing a little bit of definition, but I still didn't put any weight on. And it wasn't until I started the gym in like 2015, which is when I really started seeing a difference. So yeah, 2015, that was the start of the man you see today. Like, that's where I really started to fall in love with the gym, 2015. I think I took my very first mirror pick in a gym in 2015. I will try and find it and show you.
Next question is, when cutting, is it just diet that changes, or does your exercise have to change too? When it comes to cutting, it is 90% about your diet. So being in a deficit is definitely going to help. Well, it is the only reason that you're going to cut. But with being in a deficit, it does come with some downfall. So like your strength will deplete. Not deplete, it will kind of come down. You will fatigue a lot easier because you're tired. So naturally your body will want you to move less because you're burning more calories because you're consuming less. Well, technically, you're consuming less calories than your total daily energy expenditure, which is known as your TDEE. You're consuming less than that, which means that your body is going to naturally slow itself down because it wants to like preserve that energy to get you throughout the day. And if you're consuming less and then moving more, you're obviously burning more than that, so you'll feel tired, sluggish, you'll feel weaker. But they're the kind of things that come with cutting. Now, as for changing exercises, you don't need to change anything to do with your exercises. Maybe you have to change some weight because you won't be able to lift that heavy, but that just comes with the territory, unfortunately. Like, I can feel it in myself now. Like, I've only cut down by maybe 700 calories and already I feel weaker, but it just comes with it, so we'll see. Just to add on to the previous question, I am gonna, if you want to know more about like TDE and stuff like that and your nutrition side of things, then I will do a separate video on that, because when you go into nutrition and stuff like that, it does get a little bit, I wouldn't say complicated because it's very simple, but it can be confusing. But anyway, that's a totally different topic. Moving on to TDE and meat and stuff like that, but we'll get there eventually. If you want it, let me know in the comments and we'll do it. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Michael Griffiths. This is episode 1, and we're gonna do plenty more episodes running up to probably the road to British finals. So I'm gonna put it out there and say I'm hopefully gonna qualify for British finals on September 18th and then do British finals in October. So that will be another maybe 3.5 week prep after this first show. But until then, I've been Michael Griffiths. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Peace.